Today, we are going to talk about waste problem. I know this is not news. People have been talking about it for so many years. But why until today, in 2020, we still go through so many waste in our everyday life? To know the answer, the first thing we did is we went on the street. We talked to people, did questionnaires to understand how people feel about it and how they deal with the waste they produce. Here is what they say. I try to recycle as much as possible. I recycle at home and work. So much packaging cannot be recycled. I do recycling and composting. There are so many people who are talking about recycling. So we decided to move on to study the recycling system and see what we can do. And then we realized that actually, recycling is not a magical solution. People usually think they put something in the recycling bin, it will transform into something new. But in reality, recycling refers to a series of activities. And during the process, there's a lot of restrictions and limitations. Make recyclable become trash and go to the landfill. These factors lead to the consequence that more than half of items technically recyclable but still end up in the landfill.
Before we move on, I want to clarify that we are not saying recycling is bad. Recycling is still doing a good job, but just it should be the last resort. So the next question will be what we can do before recycling.
And that is reduce, reuse, recycle. We all have learned these three R's when we were children. But why, after we growing up, we only say the recycle?
The first two R's bring us to our statement. How may we collaborate with school to build an educational play program for children to develop a new mindset on the value and opportunity of waste? I know you may have questions. Why school and why children? Here is why. We noticed that a lot of schools did a great job on encouraging kids to do the recycling, but they don't really offer the opportunity for children to learn reducing or reusing consistently. So, we want to enrich the education of 3Rs and also empower children to make change.
The first activity we did is we collect a couple different recycled material and bring them to schools, see how children interact with them. And we did this activity with two different age groups. One is preschool kids, and another one is elementary school 5th grade kids. First of all, their creativities really inspire us. And based on these activities and also the discussion with their teacher, we defined 4 principles we want to involve in our final project. First one is, even though this is an open-ended activity, the structured information and resources are still needed for leading the activities. And during the process, we want to foster the conversation around environment and reimagination. And also to motivate kids to keep explore and experiment, so that we can bring them long-term attitude and behavior change.
With those missions, our final innovation is emerged. We would like to introduce you Rebuilders. Reduce, reuse, reimagine. Rebuilder is an educational play program incorporating actionable lessons and structured activities to build a space where we can empower children to redefine the waste in their everyday lives. By the way, we choose beaver as our logo because beaver are the best nature builders. They are so great at collecting nature materials and transforming them into their home. So, we also say children are human society beavers who can rebuild the value of waste.
Let's dive into this curriculum. In the first lesson, children are going to learn what is reuse. We realize that rather than we bring the material to the class, we want kids to discover this material by themselves. So we come up with an idea called Scavenger Hunt. Children need to search this waste material around their home. And additionally, We also did an activity to support the Scavenger Hunt, which is making a t-shirt bag. We asked children to bring an old, unwanted t-shirt to the class, and in the class, we guide them to transform this t-shirt into a bag, so that they can use this bag as a hunting bag to do the scavenger hunt.
In the next lesson, they will bring their funding materials to the class. Kids are going to learn what are the waste materials. The activities will be set up a reuse bin, aka creative bin, in the class to store their funding materials. They can also put any waste materials they think can be reused. They became the resource and supply for their classes.
After this activity, schools are closed, but we still want to give you a recap of the whole plan and to the future how this project can live in the school. First of all, children are asked to bring an old t-shirt and we will make a t-shirt bag. Then use this bag as a hunting bag to play the scavenger hunt. After they bring their findings to the class, we will set up a reuse bin to store the materials they found. Then we will guide them to explore different ways to reuse these materials. Teachers can also integrate these materials to other classes, like music class, math class, or even science class. If they want, they can also find a space, like an exhibition, to represent children's creations to other classes. So this is our vision. But for now, rather than finding a way to implement this plan, we care more about how our project can contribute during this challenging time. And we have heard that parents are overwhelmed and exhausted. So we decided to transform our ideas into online resource for parents. We encourage parents to do some repurposing activities to keep kids engaged and learning while schools are closed. It can simply start from collecting potentially useful material at home, like searching recycling bin or junk drawers. And we also pass them a couple activities featuring different materials, like transforming toilet paper roll to stamps, or use rubber bands to make some noise, or making some funny self-portraits. I personally have so much fun with it.
Here are some feedback from parents. These are amazing ideas. My doctor and I was talking about recycling recently. We're looking forward to try some. I love the idea of paper roll stamp. It's really a fun way to reuse them.
Finally, we want to say, regardless of these ideas we share with parents or the educational program for schools, our goals are always the same. We hope through these activities, we can bring lifelong environmental awareness and instill potential actions in today's child and tomorrow's leader. So waste is no longer a dirty world. All they see is a resource. Thank you.